for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the support of my patrons, we're going to be taking a look at the new Hot Toys 480 of the Avengers Infinity War version of Captain America. I've been really looking forward to this guy for a while now, and I'm super excited to finally have him. For the package, you got an absolute gorgeous image of Steve Rogers right there. As you can tell, this is an actual image though of Chris Evans, not the figure. And I bring that up because a lot of people are kind of criticizing Hot Toys for how they did his portrait. So I want you to remember that look. Down here you see Captain America, Avengers Infinity War. The side here has a nice image in the background of the Infinity Gauntlet. You got the Avengers A. Opposite side just kind of has that, and then you can see that the large Avengers A kind of wraps around. You come to the back of the package, you got various warnings and contact information, and then much like all of these Hot Toy figures, it is a box inside of a box kind of, so you can set that off to the side. You got the cast and crew responsible for making the figure. Then you spin this around, and then you have a nice open window that fully showcases the figure as well as all of his accessories. Now, one thing that I will mention is that there are two versions of this particular release. There is a movie promo version as well as a standard release. I just got the standard one. There is a price difference, and unfortunately I had to go with the slightly cheaper one, which does kind of disappoint me because I would have liked to had those other accessories that the movie promo version has, but we'll get into that here in a bit. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get this guy out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Captain America from Avengers Infinity War opened up and out of his packaging. And much like all Hot Toy figures, you do get his instruction sheet. There's not really a ton of information in here. It all basically is kind of standard information. It does show the movie promo edition accessories, that being Corvus Glaive's staff, as well as the extra diorama figure base. So it does look like you get the same instructions basically. And then you come around here to the back, and it also does show how to attach his vibranium shield as well as how they can actually extend. So that is all really, you know, just kind of general information. But starting off first with the accessories that come with the standard version here, coming down, as you can see, you do get a pretty good amount of hands. You get a pair of fisted hands. You get a right hand here that is in a pointing pose. I don't know if I really remember seeing him point much. And then you got an open one, which does look really very cool. Coming in to take a closer look at the detail on this guy, you can see gorgeous sculpt with the glove, and you can see that the fingers kind of protrude from the glove itself. You got some nice paint on there with the black highlights and everything. Come around to the palm, and you can see gorgeous detail on the palm of his hand as well. So you do get all that detail in there. I don't know necessarily what you would do with this hand. Maybe have Thanos kind of pushing down, but you only get one of this kind of grip. So can't really create it that well, I guess. You do get a pair of fisted hands that you can see are slightly open that allow him to kind of hold the handles of his shield, as well as Proxima Midnight, as well as Corvus Glaive's various staffs. And then you do get, well, I mean, these are just kind of relaxed hands. If you want to put, you know, him just kind of hanging out there, you got a pair of relaxed ones. And then you do get a pair of extra wrist pegs in case anything happens. And now coming over to take a look at Proxima Midnight's staff. This is absolutely gorgeous. Do be careful, this is very pointy, but an amazing amount of detail on here as well. It is just kind of molded in this mostly dark plastic, but you can see like in the handle area, you can see, if I come in, you can see some paint wash on there. Hopefully you can see that. That does give a little bit of wear to it. But then you look at the spikes here in the front. Again, really very nice in terms of the recreation here. You come around to the back section, and you can see you got that light up blade section. You can see it's just this blue translucent piece of plastic, but again, real nice detail. You can see some slight paint variation with different parts and such. So this is what comes with the standard version. The movie promo version also does come, oh, I didn't even notice this. There's a little bit of blue. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, right in the tip right here, you can see a little bit of blue on there, which is absolutely amazing that they captured that. But the movie promo version comes with both this and Corvus Glaive's weapon. He kind of used both when they were battling initially and Captain America arrived on the scene. Proxima Midnight threw this, Cap caught it, and then threw it over to Black Widow, who then took this and stabbed Corvus Glaive. That stabbing caused him to actually drop his weapon, and then Proxima Midnight summoned this back to her. In the comics, she could actually control where this basically went. So this ripped out of Captain America's hand, went back to her, and then she was going to go and attack Black Widow. Captain America swooped in, grabbed Corvus Glaive's staff off the ground, and held it up, and then as Proxima Midnight came down to stab Black Widow, Cap put his weapon in front, blocking it. So it makes sense that he would come with both of them. I kind of wish that this more came with Black Widow, as she kind of used this a little bit more, and then maybe have Captain America come with Corvus Glaives, especially since we don't know if we're going to be getting those two figures. I feel like they didn't need to do a whole promo version. And then the other promo version accessories is a different base here. As you can see, taking a look at this, you got that gorgeous Avengers A there, you got the Infinity War logo. You do just have Captain America there. That's not on that little metal plate, but whatever. You do have the adjustable cradle. And then for that other diorama piece, you can lift this up. You can put it over there. I don't know if it's necessarily sticky or anything, but it just kind of looks like the ground. And then you would put this there, and it would kind of hold it in place. But it also came with a half-bodied, inarticulate version of an Outrider. Now that also is really cool. So I do wish I was able to afford that movie promo version. I just ultimately had to decide on getting one or the other. And I decided to get this one. Mostly because I kind of knew that I wasn't going to display those accessories with Cap, despite the fact that I would like to display those in my display. It just didn't work with him. Now, he also does come with this vibranium shield. You get two of them. This one here is the right one. This one is the left one. You can see that the handle actually goes in a slightly different direction, kind of denoting which one is a right and left one. And then it does have a transformation sort of gimmick. The first is you're going to take these and slide both of these out like so, slide this piece down like that, and then gently push down here on the back, and that kind of angles things a little bit, so you can put it kind of out a little bit more. You can spread that out, and then you can make it all flush. So when you have it like that, you can see that it is a little bit broken up with this middle piece right here, if my camera will focus on these guys. But you can see that when you push that section down, that whole section does close off and makes one nice looking shield. Very great detail on this as well. You can see there's a little bit of wear on it, which is perfectly fine. Some nice silver. You got some darker grays with some lighter grays. And again, these are the vibranium shields that Black Panther gave to him. As we know, Captain America relinquished his All-American shield at the end of Civil War, so he needed something, and Black Panther gave him this. You turn around here to the back, you can see some nice extra painted detail around the kind of forearm section right there, and then you can see some nice silver along the outer rim as well. And then again, to transform it back, you're just going to lift this piece up, slide that down, and collapse that down. So now you have a smaller version, but absolutely gorgeous. I do really like those. It is accurate. I do hope that at some point in time we get Captain America using his classic shield again, but these are still really cool. And I love how they made it so they can extend and collapse. Now coming in really close to take a look at the portrait, this has been the most criticized aspect of this figure. A lot of collectors really do not feel that this is a really good recreation of Chris Evans. And I do gotta say that while this still does look pretty good, the two previous versions, that being the Civil War and even the Age of Ultron version, in my opinion, do look better. For me, what I think kind of throws it off on this, and people have talked about how like it looks better from certain angles, and I don't subscribe to any of that BS. People have said that, maybe the little tufts of hair kind of take it away. For me, what kind of ruins it is the upper lip on him. When you look at it from like the side, that sticks out really very far. And then when you bring in that, this is the Civil War head on the Age of Ultron body, you can see that the upper lips do not stick out nearly as far. Now, granted, this guy, and I'll bring in that other cap here in a bit for comparison. But granted, they're recreating the hair, but the hair on his lip really shouldn't stick out that far. I mean, that is tremendous, and I think that's mostly what does it. His lower lip looks pretty good, but you know, when you combine it with how far the upper lip sticks out, it just gives it a weird look. Now, like I said, it's not bad. I mean, I can definitely look at this and I can see Chris Evans, but I think it's just the whole mouth area that really throws it off for me. Taking a look at the rest of his outfit, though, this is really very nice. Again, not much in terms of the design has changed. You saw a slight evolution from the Age of Ultron version to that Civil War version, and this is more or less the Civil War version, but as you can see, much more muted in terms of the color. It shows the age, like the longer hair, the beard. These guys were on the run and obviously did not have access to a way to kind of update the suit. You can see that the chest section here, the star has now completely gone away. It's not that really nice, you know, silver section. You can see that he's got a lot of damage to the actual suit itself. Underneath, you can see like that chainmail kind of design there. You can see that now the lower section here, instead of the nice white with vibrant red, it's again very muted down. You can see that he's rolling his sleeves up. The rest does have, like I said, a very similar look to it. The belt is very similar still as well. You come down to the pants, and basically those are the exact same as well. Just again, very muted in terms of the coloring. Also, the one thing that's missing is on here you had the Avengers A. That's no longer there as well. But the knee pads, the boots, all very, very similar to that Civil War version. Just darker and dirtier. And that's really it. He does still have this really nice harness that goes around. That does kind of look like it clips on there, but they do say that it's not removable, so I'm not going to mess around with it. These little pieces here are actually made out of metal. I don't think these ones are, but that one definitely is. That one, I can feel it. But the overall design, like I said, of the suit is still very similar. So it does look really good. I absolutely do love the overall presence of it. It's just slightly different. Now, to do that comparison again, let me bring in the very bright and full of life Age of Ultron version. This is the only one that I have left in my collection. I sold the Civil War version, kind of regretting having done that now, because kind of wish that I kept it just so that I could have the two most recent ones. But again, you can see this is the beginnings of that suit, and then it slightly changed as it went on to get to this point. Now, one thing you're also noticing is that the bodies are, you can see, the new cap is a little bit taller. You can mostly see it like right here across the shoulders and obviously the head as well. But you can see that some minor changes did take place. For example, like this whole section right here where this was white on this guy in the Civil War version, that became gray, kind of like what that is. There were slight changes to the belt. A lot of this red was kind of replaced and everything, but the overall look is similar. I mean, this does have a really cool look to it, but there's just something about this darker version of Cap that really does kind of appeal to me. It looks terrific. For his articulation, it is pretty much the same that you would expect. The neck joint here is down at the lower section, so you can see it moves forward and back. It rotates, kind of pivots side to side a little bit. There is no upper head joint, so you can't really do anything with that. It's all down here. The shoulders move in and out. There is a little bit of restriction from the suit, but one thing that is nice is where the pieces rotate, it feels like it's a different material. And I just popped something off. That's never, ever any good. Oh, I see where that goes. That's supposed to be there. Like, yeah, you got a little piece right there. So I'm going to have to glue that back on there. That kind of stinks. But the arms do rotate. And what else is falling off? Was that the same thing that fell off? I'm going to have to take a closer look at that now. Yeah, that's the same piece that fell off. So you can rotate the arms. It does get a little bit tight. So obviously be careful when you're doing things. You do get a bit of a butterfly joint. He rotates at the upper part of the bicep. He does have two bends here at the elbow. And then again, because of the material right here, I thought it would bunch up and really kind of restrict that. But you can get that really forming a very deep curl, which looks really, really good. The abdomen here, this is all a softer material. So you can see, well, I mean, that popped out. Let's see, that's just a button again. So again, some of this stuff, you do have to be careful with this. What am I looking at here? A whole bunch of stuff underneath there. So I'm going to have to, oh, well, did that just, yeah, that's just a button. So I'm going to have to put that in there, but you do have a waist rotation. You got an ab crunch, but obviously be careful because it could pop buttons off there in the back. I'm going to have to fix that. The thighs here, or the legs in general, move in and out. They go about that far. They go in and out. It does rotate at the upper part of the thigh. Again, the material here is a little bit looser than before, which does give a nice range of motion. You got a double joint here for the knee. The ankles here are on ball joints. You can see that the boots are separated by two different sections. So the actual ankles don't really get restricted with the articulation. So you can get a wider stance with them, which really does nicely work. So all the articulation that you would basically need is there. Just again, be careful when you're doing some of the stuff, because doing something like that can cause problems. So again, like I said, I'm going to have to reattach all that and then glue this little tiny piece back on there, but the articulation is pretty good. So just be careful when you're doing it. I maybe was a little bit too rough going through there or something like that, but honestly, that things like that shouldn't really pop off. I mean, you pay $250 for a figure, that should be glued on there a little bit better, I feel. So Hot Toys, get better glue. I don't know why your glue sucks so damn much, but all in all, he's still a really very cool looking figure. Now, more often than not, Hot Toys improves upon a figure that they already previously released. And that's for the most part the case here with Captain America. The suit and the materials that have been used to create the body are fantastic. The only thing that really stops this figure from being great would be the portrait. While still recognizable as Chris Evans, I feel that it is a step back from previously released versions. I think that upper lip just takes away a little bit that causes him to not be as great as those other ones. The other thing that I'm kind of disappointed in is that while I like the fact that the regular version at least comes with Proxima Midnight's staff, I kind of wish that this came with Black Widow and that Corvus Glaive one came with him. Now, you can get that movie promo version. It is exclusively available just through Sideshow Collectibles, but it does come with a higher price point. I want to say that movie promo version is like $15 or $20 more, which at the end of the day isn't all that bad considering you get an extra diorama piece, that being the Outrider, and you get a whole different staff, that being Corvus Glaive's. So it's not a bad deal. And a lot of times extra accessories usually just go in the box and I never think about them again. Those two staffs though, I probably would have liked to have had in my collection, even if I don't have those characters. So I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't get that set, but I saved some money. And ultimately, this is the selling point. Now, if you have a huge Hot Toys collection, this is probably one that you're going to want to add to it. If you're trying to be a little bit more picky with the figures that you add, I would probably say the Civil War version or even the Age of Ultron one has a little bit more of a classic look for Captain America. So if you're being particular about the figures that you have in your collection, this is one that you might want to miss out on because he does have a fairly dramatically different look than what we're used to with Captain America. A much more dirty, subdued, worn out, and just unkept look to Cap. It's a cool look, but not a definitive version for the character. But all that being said, if this version of Captain America is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, I'll put a link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS, where you can check out availability on this, as well as the rest of the wide range of Hot Toy figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate your support, guys, simply by hitting that thumbs up button. That one small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also want to send a big thanks if you made it all the way to the end of this review. Another way that you can really help support my channel is making sure that you watch a video all the way through. And if you did that, thank you. And a huge shout out to all of my patrons, who through their continued support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And finally, remember, the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.